The views and opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting groups. If you'd like to produce a show, call us at 260-421-1250.
Hi, Dr. Rudy Kachmann, welcome to Kachmann Wellness Show. I've been doing this, this will be on public access, Comcast 57 Mondays at 6:30, and I hope you watch it every week. It's always about diabetes, how to prevent it, stop it, and reverse it. It's a national epidemic, but especially in Indiana and Allen County, that we have among the highest rates in the nation. Although we have this wonderful, economically strong city and county and state, what does it, some ways, really matter if we're all unhealthy and going to not live as long as the rest of the nation? So I'm trying to change this. And you're welcome to speak to me about it, or for example, the lectures I give at Lutheran Hospital, or I see people for free, like I did this morning, at Three Rivers Pharmacy at the end of Anthony back in Concordia High there. I see people free from 9 to 12 every Friday who have addictions or type 2 diabetes and they want to get rid of it. What I'm trying to say to you about type 2 diabetes and the 50 illnesses it causes, 90% of the time you can prevent it and you can get rid of it, you can get rid of it, you can get rid of it, and it's not very hard actually. If you change the way you eat, which I'll be speaking about, your gut biome, those trillions of bacteria in your gut, will change very quickly, and your blood sugars, yes, probably will be normal in a week. Mark Hyman in his books states that. I agree with it. There was a book written a long time ago, which I think was ignored by the medical community, called The Diabetes Miracle by Franklin House. I read that book. And he published almost 20 years ago. I never meet a provider ever read the darn book. Fantastic book, and I've been gathering information ever since. Another great book to read is The End of Diabetes by Dr. Joe Furman. Yeah. End of Diabetes. Yeah, rarely do I meet a provider, though, that ever recommended it to his patients. What's the first thing that they want to do? A script to the ill. Well, actually, it's been found through research now that insulin saves a lot of people's lives. A type 1 diabetic, they're not going to live right unless they get some insulin. I understand that, okay? But even they can take less insulin because there's other effects you like to avoid by watching what they're eating, okay? Maybe 10, 20 units is all that's needed. Most are taking 80 or 100. But insulin, besides pushing sugar into the cell for energy, also opens up the cell door to allow fat in, and the cell expands. That's why the people gain weight. And the more fat in the body, the more insulin resistance you have, the higher the insulin level has to go, the more sugar it has to push into the cell because of triglycerides, insulin resistance. In the cell, sugar converts to fat, and insulin level goes higher and higher and higher. So insulin is also anabolic, makes you gain weight, stiffens your artery, causes dementia, increased rates of cancer. You see my point? Stopping and preventing is a lot better thing. Another book was written, Goodbye Diabetes by Wes Youngberg. I happened to meet him. I happened to meet him at a hotel in Hilton Head. I was visiting my daughter, and her house was full, so I stayed there, and he was holding a conference there with the Amen Society. They're from all over the world. I met him, which, I think he's responsible for that, and we became friends. He went to the island of Guam, and those people were eating a very unhealthy diet because the Japanese had flattened it. Now they're eating American food. Instead of vegetables and fresh fish, 90% became diabetic. 90%. He told them how to eat right and exercise and get rid of most of the diabetes. Now they use what he recommends. They use that at the Kaiser Permanente health system. And you can get a one-page handout at the Three Rivers Pharmacy where I see people on Friday mornings, or at one of my lectures, that tells you a proper testing for diabetes. I want you to catch the very early pre-diabetes to prevent it. I'm not for, you got the disease, here's your script. I'm for preventing it so you never, because a lot of the complications, 50 diseases of diabetes can occur in pre-diabetes. Unannounced heart attacks, strokes, dementia, visual loss, teeth falling out, amputations, vascular disease, dislocations, all can occur in pre-diabetes. So I suggest testing age 2 every year. Put in a book, put in the computer, follow your kid. So as the blood sugar figures are changing, you can catch it very early, maybe a 5-10 pound weight loss. You prevent it, type 2 diabetes, and its complications. You get a normal child. No one dies in their 30s and 40s. If you have type 2 diabetes all your life, odds are you'll die 20 years younger than most. You'll have 25 years of disability, heart attacks, strokes, amputations. All these people you see in wheelchairs and canes, a lot of them had vascular disease from a preventable disease. Their provider, their family, or they didn't follow the recommendations, it's self-inflicted. Can be avoided. If you see me at the Three Rivers Pharmacy, I would teach you all that. I teach you all that. I can prevent and reverse type 2 diabetes 90% of the time. It's not hard. It's about eating the right food, exercise a little bit. 80% type of food. I don't even recommend a diet. And the odds are I can get you off your medication. I've done it many times. So I recommend get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it. I'd like to mention one thing a little bit here too, a little bit. This has nothing to do with, well, not much to do with diabetes. A book that I wrote, I like to, you can get it on Amazon or pick up a copy or a DVD or CD on it at the Three Rivers Pharmacy. CBD oil, Indiana's Road to Marijuana. I bring this up even in this lecture because I want you to speak to your legislator. That's the only way we'll stop this. In what I've shown here in this book, that CBD oil turns off enzymes in your liver that have to do with metabolizing the drugs you're already taking. So if you're taking warfarin or diabetic medication or seizure medications, they can upgrade or downgrade them. Yeah, I get the evidence. It's been confirmed. You can read Journal Gazette last Sunday, the editorial page, the doctor from Florida confirmed it. And so people are trying to sell you this. It's called the money. Okay. With occasional exception. Okay. And the state of Indiana never should have released the sale of it. They did. Our legislators and our governor, did they not know better? I did try to get the state toxicologist, Lisa Arnold, I think is her name, to come to Fort Wayne. No, Sheila Arnold. I tried to come here to educate us in a lecture or a TV show like here. She could be my guest today to tell you about the toxicology of the CBD. Is it good or bad, or what does it do? Because I had seen a copy of her PowerPoint she gave to lawyers, okay? Not to doctors, to lawyers. And she said she was too busy. I called her twice. She's too busy. What does that mean? You decide, okay? You decide what that means. So be very careful. And this will lead to marijuana. Then I had another book come in the mail yesterday. I haven't totally read it yet, by Berenson, I think is his name, and find out that marijuana itself can cause paranoia, schizophrenia, and increase criminality. Proven. Stories from all over the world. I'm not making this up. Read the book. Make up your own mind. I'll drop the subject right there. So I wrote books about preventing diabetes too long ago, and the problem really is sugar. Sugar affects our serotonin and dopamine centers in our brain. Nature designed us so that we would seek sugary foods to stay alive. But the foods were different years ago than they are today, okay? There's so much more sugar in the foods we're eating, fast food, pure sugar. So I wrote a book years ago, The New Slavery. Look at this. I mean, I was thinking of writing another book when I look at it. I mean, here's the subject. See, the hands were handcuffed. We're slaves to sugar. It makes us feel good. It puts us in heaven. The thing is, we need to develop other ways of feeling good to relieve our stress. It's normal to have some stress off life. I'll have it tonight, okay? If there's a donut laying there tonight, which I don't allow in the house, but you never know, it could be laying there, carrot cake or donut, I'll be eating stress of life, okay? But I have other things ready now, an apple or a pear or some hummus with vegetables or a piece of dark chocolate to relieve my stress. We all have stress. It's normal. You just have to figure out, don't let food be the thing that you use to relieve your stress of life. Okay? It's normal to have stress. So you can see my point. I call it a new slavery. We're a slave to alcohol, marijuana, technology. Sugar is more addictive than cocaine. I heard this morning again on CNBC. It's more addictive than cocaine. So I'm not blaming nobody. I'm just trying to help you. That's what I'm trying to do. Then I wrote one on diabetes, probably 10 years ago, Secret Reversing Type 2 Diabetes is a book that I wrote years ago, worth reading, not real big. You can see the shadow. So if you slim down, odds are you won't have it. Although we have the trophies, thin on the outside, fat inside in the viscera, people too. So it's your blood work that counts. It's your microbiome, those trillions of bacteria that run your gut. They run the metabolism in your body. And what's nice about knowing something about the biome, you can get a copy of a PowerPoint I have on that, or look at my YouTube shows, the show I have on that, because the lifespan of one bacteria in your gut, those trillions that live there, they run the metabolism of your body, 20 minutes. The mucosa, one cell layer thick, your gut, 24 hours. So if you change the way you eat, you'll change your gut in a week. That's why Mark Hyman says in his book, you could probably get rid of diabetes in a week. And you don't want to do anything about it? I mean, you know, maybe you do. Come see me at the pharmacy and I'll coach you. Don't just accept pill to the ill. I mean, some do. Some do, and your doctor will decrease them, and it'll be quickly. It'll be quickly. Look at the money you'll save. Look at the money you'll save. Look at the complications you're not going to get. They're not going to amputate your legs. You won't have these unannounced heart attacks. 70% of dementia, Alzheimer's disease, I can prove it to you. I can tell you the books to read. My next talk at Lutheran Hospital, third week, my next one actually is in January, but the one in February is on memory. In type 2 diabetes, 70% of dementia is due to diabetes, not that little pill your pharmaceutical company is trying to invent, which say will not. One pill won't do it. I'm glad they're doing the research, but one pill will not do it. But getting well and preventing, avoiding, reversing type 2 diabetes, reduce the odds of dementia a great deal, maybe at least 50%. Yeah. The science of it has been discovered that the IDE enzyme, insulin degrading enzyme, supposed to degrade amyloid, is used up in diabetics trying to get rid of the excessive sugar. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's what its job is, to get rid of amyloid that causes dementia. There's not enough of the IDE enzyme around, so memory loss starts. They call it type 3 diabetics. That's been known for years, but the detailed science has not been known. Has not been known. Let me tell you another interesting thing. This research on this has developed over the years. 50 years they told us fat was the problem. It wasn't fat. It was the sugar. Yeah. The guys at Harvard were bribed. That's in many books. I'm not making this up. This is in many books. I can prove it to you. 50 years they told us, and it was done by industry and the U.S. government. The U.S. government supports the price of sugar, fructose corn syrup. That's making us sick. The government supports the price. That's not nice. I'm doing something about it. Join me in the effort. Dr. Atkins years ago, people wondered about his high meat diet and low carb diet, and we say, well, he's wrong. Well, he wasn't all wrong at all. He lived in New York City, not too many blocks from my home where I lived. I never met him there, but it's an interesting story. He's dead now. He died from a falling, had a subdural of the brain, not from eating, they recommend. He actually wrote a number of books that made him a lot of money. And he took the money and didn't just go live in Florida or someplace in the world and buy huge mansions. He took that money and researched and financed research of 3 different doctors who came up with really the theory of low sugar diets. And if you eat sugar is the booger and the hooker. You eat less sugar and diabetes goes away quickly. And they also use it to recommend a way of eating that helps triathletes, because they put you, you can be trained in a week or two to eat very low sugar and go into fat metabolism. We store in our body about 2,000 calories of glycogen. That's it. The liver and muscles, about 2,000. If you high loaded, otherwise it's only about 1,000. Well, even less than that. But 400 in the muscles, 100 in the liver, 500, about 1,000 grams of complex carbs we have in our body. If you were to preload and eat a lot of spaghetti a week or so, things like that, you could load it maybe up to 2,000. You can exercise. And most of the time you burn up, if you don't eat much sugar, you'll get rid of your glycogen and most carbs about 2 days. Yeah, that quickly. And then you'll metabolize fat. You're trying to lose weight. That's what you want. And athletes can be trained to do this. Triathletes takes about a week or two. And so remember, I spoke about 1,000 or 2 calories, grams that we have on that's calories that we have in our body from carbohydrates. But listen to this. You wouldn't believe this. But we have in our body, even a thin person, 40,000 calories of fat. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when you can go into fat metabolism, you have a lot of energy left. So triathletes can be trained for that and increase the energy tremendously. Isn't that interesting? I didn't know that. I read that recently. I thought you might, like to know that. Actually, Dr. Atkins reviewed the papers of a Dr. DeFranzo, Ralph DeFranzo from Texas, the biggest diabetic specialist in the world, may still be today, because 6 months ago I spoke to him on the phone. His office said, keep on calling him. Sure enough, I caught him walking up the stairs, an airplane going to Europe for a diabetes conference. God, I'd love to have gone with him. But I talked to him perfectly. He took 60 of DeFranzo's papers and put 5 stages of diabetes. How do you ever speak to a provider who knows these? Mark Hyman knows them. and very, and what's very early is insulin resistance. Okay, remember that's where the blood pressure is up, the waist measurement, HDL is down, triglycerides are elevated. That's a metabolic syndrome can predate clear-cut type 2 diabetes, but the complications can occur in that. So he puts it in stages. So in the beginning, you have insulin resistance. Then eventually, the insulin level is up, but your blood sugar is normal. Okay. Next, your blood sugar is up, your insulin level is up, and you have some abnormalities on your glucose tolerance test. Stage 4, you have type 2 diabetes, blood sugar of 126, and high levels of insulin. We're diagnosing people most of the time stage 4. Totally ridiculous. Of course, it's disease-orientated. A lot of business there. Come to my clinic. I'll write you a script. Do I push wellness to get rid of it? Hardly ever mentioned. I see it all the time. I don't do that. Come see me at the Toledo Pharmacy. You want to get rid of your diabetes? Come see me. I'll show you how to do it. You do what I ask you to do, you'll get rid of it. Your doctor will have to reduce the medication, but I will teach you proper eating, not a diet. Proper eating. Stage 5 is low insulin levels because your pancreas is dying. It's dead. Okay. A serum peptide will a lot of times a way to find out if your insulin is a C-peptide to find out if your insulin is working. Your test that's not done very often. So suppose you don't want to do a lot, you don't want to read a lot. I tell you, the easiest way to become healthy, drink a smoothie every day. You can go to Facebook Kachmann, we get recipes for you. It's full of vitamins, minerals, phytochemicals. It's the interaction that lead to good health. A smoothie every day is a good 50% to wellness. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have one every day. I have one today. And they taste good because they have so full of healthy foods. So what I recommend, 70-80% vegetables, mushrooms and fruit, which have no color, limited amount of meat. I didn't say be vegetarian or vegan or anything like that. Follow that 70-80% of the time, and then you'll be well. An easy way, so have a smoothie every day, and then the rest of the day you cook. And this is a great book. My friend Dr. Joel Furman, who came to town recently, stayed at my house. We played tennis. It was a tie. Last time I beat him. Proud of that. He said he came to town just to play me tennis. Okay. Yeah, a great book. You can go to any page. Like, let me show you here, like I do here. And sweet shredded carrot salad. Everything has a picture to it. Everything has a picture to it. You have smoothies, you have recipes, you have desserts, a little explanation at the beginning. If you were to get this book, like I said, I'm not selling books. You can go to Amazon and get the books or pick one up at our pharmacy. We have them in stock there. We sell them at the price that we paid for them, not for profit. Get the quick feature. And you cook that way, and that's the only way you eat for a few weeks. Diabetes is gone. Look at the money you'll save. You live 20 years longer. You'll have 20 years of no disability at the end, 90% chance. Hey, let's get to work, okay? And we're doing this because we care about you. It's no profit for me. I just spend money buying these books and made them available for you. And see me for free at the pharmacy. Let's start a revolution of stopping, preventing, reversing type 2 diabetes. I will always have a show here every Monday as long as it is available, and I thank Public Access for putting this on. Remember, type 2 diabetes get 50 illnesses, including dementia, amputations, blindness, heart attacks, strokes, liver transplants, renal transplants can be prevented, stopped, and at certain stages even reversed. I even think some people who are like in stage 1 renal disease, I've had a couple of people now who went in stage 1 renal disease, and it went away by using the quick fix books. They start eating differently and get rid of their disease. So I don't think it's been properly tested, the renal aspect of it. I think a lot more of those people could be reversed if the diabetic people would step on board and we would test this on them. I've read very little in the literature about it in terms of people having done that, but I'm going to push the envelope. That's my nature, because prevention is a lot easier than to treat you after you have these diseases. But remember, if you do have full-blown diabetes with some chronic illness, a lot of that still can be reversed. Mm-hmm. You had a few heart attacks, don't throw in the towel, because maybe we can get you to live to be 100 if you were to become 90%, 80% in following a nutrient-dense way of eating. Once a month I give a lecture at Lutheran Hospital. You can look at probably YouTube, Rudy Kachmann, type in diabetes, about 10, 20 previous TV shows will show up to educate you, because remember that you got to participate in your health care. I think this would be a very good thing to do. Why am I doing this, especially for free, is because I'm a doctor. Yeah, I care about you. I love you. Okay, so help me join in this venture. And the other thing that I brought up about the CBD oil, join me in this adventure to improve us all. Let's have a good new year. I think it'll be a great one. Maybe I'll see you on the tennis court or the pickleball court, or maybe you'll join me in my tap dance lessons. Okay. Always thinking of something new. And we'll see you next time. Namaste. Namaste.